The starting scene of the drama shows our main lead Mingyu fighting with someone. He is injured and trying to hide when our female lead, who is actually drunk, arrives and kisses him. We then move to the present 3 years later. Mingyu now lives in a small cute village in the countryside. He owns a tea farm and leads a very happy and satisfied life. Next we see Sion, the female lead and CEO of Y Group, in a board meeting. The board is discussing rumors of her relationship with a superstar, which is drawing a lot of attention to their company. However, Sion dismisses their concerns, calling it free publicity and suggesting they clarify things later. After the meeting, Sion is seen talking with her dad about acquiring a piece of land that other groups are also interested in. She has a superb plan for this acquisition, which she discusses with her dad. The scene then shifts back to the village where Mingyu lives. While on the highway, Sion has an accident. Her bodyguards who were trying to kidnap her are chasing her, but Mingyu arrives to save her. He defeats the kidnappers and takes her away. Although some try to follow him, he knows the village well. Meanwhile, Sion wakes up and offers Mingyu money, thinking he is taking her away. However, she realizes he is actually saving her when he hides and protects her from the kidnappers. The scene then shifts to the village where it's raining. They take shelter in a small place. Mingyu helps Sion dry her clothes and asks for her details. Sion realizes she has lost her memory and doesn't even know her own name due to a head injury from the accident. She asks Mingyu for help until she feels safe, and he agrees, saying he will help her until her memory returns. The next morning, a girl named Chi, a live streamer in the village, is streaming in ancient dresses. She shows her viewers the village, and they see a couple sleeping in a small hut. Shocked, they gather around, calling the couple bold and shameless. Chi then recognizes Sion and tells her she has returned after many years. Sion, who has lost her memory, is surprised and starts hearing her story. She learns that she is Shu Fan, who used to live in the village with her stepmom and stepbrother, who treated her poorly and made her do all the housework, forcing her to leave the village. Since Shu Fan had left the village, many years had passed without any news of her. When she returns, she has no memories. Chi, her best friend, reassures her and takes her home. Shu Fan's brother comes out and is very happy to see her, saying he will tell their mom the good news. Shu Fan feels relieved, thinking there are people who love her. Shu Fan looks at some photos, and when her mom arrives, she initially seems ready to argue, but instead hugs her and says she missed her. Her mom makes her do a lot of work. Once while washing clothes, Shu Fan's pants tear, and she tries to run away, but her mom tries to throw water on her. Mingyu arrives like a hero and saves her, causing the water to splash back on her mom. Another time, while working in the kitchen, Shu Fan almost catches fire, but Mingyu saves her again. One day, Shu Fan's brother is giving an interview and a foreigner is being very racist because he doesn't speak good English. Shu Fan steps in, gives the interview herself, and tells the foreigner that just because they don't speak English well, it doesn't mean they should face racism. She speaks 3 to 4 languages to prove her point. Mingyu, watching from a distance, realizes that Shu Fan is not ordinary. He helps her again when she almost falls down the stairs, creating a romantic moment. However, Shu Fan's mom becomes very annoyed with her because since losing her memory, Shu Fan is not good at any work and often argues back. Shu Fan's mom used to hit her because she kept failing and didn't seem like her old self. Meanwhile, Mingyu notices that the girl who kissed him 3 years ago had a birthmark on her neck, just like Shu Fan. During a fight with her mom, Shu Fan gets taunted for being infamous for spending a night with Mingyu, which the entire village saw. The villagers tell Mingyu to take responsibility, marry her, and give them a dowry of 200,000. Mingyu agrees, saying he will pay and take Shu Fan with him, but they can't keep her there anymore. After paying, he takes Shu Fan out and tells her that she will stay with him in his house and work at the tea farm daily. She promises to work hard and pay back all his money, but Mingyu reassures her not to worry about the money. Shu Fan finds Mingyu's house very cute with adorable chicken and sheep houses outside. While showing her around the village, some people who seem to be from a security company come looking for her, asking the villagers about her. To prevent them from recognizing Shu Fan, Mingyu hugs her. Mingyu saves Shu Fan from the people looking for her. Shu Fan is very happy, thinking that he might be falling for her. When the security people come looking for her again, Mingyu hides her and gets close to her to avoid detection. They pass by commenting on how bold village people have become. Later we see that Mingyu has a badge from the same security company Hydra along with many awards and medals. He was a world-class bodyguard and seems to have a deep connection with Hydra. Mingyu then kneels down and gives Xu Fan a ring. Xu Fan is happy thinking Mingyu is handsome, but she stops him and says she doesn't like straightforward people. She wants to get to know each other better before thinking about marriage. Mingyu clarifies that it is an alarm ring to locate her in case of trouble. Xu Fan laughs, realizing the misunderstanding, and mentions how his previous actions made her think otherwise. They sit together and sign a contract created by Xu Fan. According to the contract, Xu Fan will work at Mingyu's tea farm and repay him gradually. They enjoy nature together in the beautiful valley village. Whenever Xu Fan faced difficulties, she would sound the alarm, which would signal Mingyu's watch, and he would rush to help her. Whether it was fishing or cutting tea leaves, she called him for every little thing, and he would always assist her. One time, while taking a shower, his alarm went off. Expecting a minor issue, he heard Xu Fan scream and rushed out with a towel. It turned out there was no danger. She was just having trouble with the stove. When Xu Fan sees him shirtless, she notices his many scars and realizes she shouldn't sound the alarm unless her life is in danger. Chi-Chi and another guy Chang see them together and think a romance is blooming. They tell Xu Fan she is lucky because Mingyu is the village's most capable bachelor and an excellent cook. Xu Fan's secret is then revealed. She had a phone and called her dad, reassuring him that she was blending in well with the villagers and was safe. It is revealed that she hadn't actually lost her memory. She was in Gujin village on a mission. She felt guilty for lying to Mingyu, but decided to tell him the truth when the time was right. After working at the tea farm, she returns home in the evening. Xu Fan lost her small lamp and was very worried. She went far into the mountains to find it. She found her lamp, but her torch's battery died, revealing her phobia of the dark. She started recalling memories related to her kidnapping where someone had saved her. Mingyu arrives to save her again. Xu Fan hugs him and starts crying. Mingyu apologizes, saying he didn't know she was so scared of the dark. He found her location through the ring signal. They were far in the mountains and Xu Fan was very hungry. Mingyu set up a camp nearby and started cooking for her. He knew how to survive in the forest and use various things, indicating he had previous training. He also knew how to make medicine from herbs. Xu Fan tasted his food, but soon started feeling unwell. She felt dizzy and began seeing things, strangely indicating she was experiencing some sort of intoxication. She gets dizzy and goes to kiss Mingyu. At that moment, Mingyu realizes that she might have eaten raw mushrooms which were not cooked and got intoxicated. She seems very cute to him and he carries her away from there. Suddenly, some people who look like bodyguards start chasing them. He tells her to close her eyes and count to 100, and then he deals with those 3 or 4 bodyguards so well that there are no traces left. Meanwhile, she is safe and has no idea what happened. To surprise her, he brings fireflies, making it seem like he had searched for them for her. The next morning, she is confused and doesn't know if the kiss and him carrying her were a dream or reality. On the other hand, Mingyu is also embarrassed and wonders if she will remember anything. He has prepared breakfast for her. They sit together, and while talking, she realizes that everything from the previous night was real, not a dream, and she feels very embarrassed. Later, Fan finds out that there is a market fair in their village today, and someone named Mr. Zhao from Y Group is coming. Chang has to present tea leaves from his dad's farm to him. Although Fan is the CEO of Y Group and doesn't want to go, she decides to check out Mr. Zhao when she hears that he is bribing people and doing wrong things. While wandering around, they come across a game where you can win a big teddy bear by hitting a target with balloons. Mingyu teaches Fan how to aim, and soon he wins the big teddy bear for her, which surprises the shopkeeper as it seemed impossible. Mingyu is an expert at shooting and Fan is very happy to see this. After that, they help their friends Chi-Chi and Young, whose tea leaves were not selling well at their stall. Fan is very good at connecting with people and selling things. Then Mr. Zhao arrives, and of course Fan knows that Mr. Zhao is a fraud because such a person doesn't work for their company. She arrives just in time to have him arrested. Shortly after, he confesses that he used to work there, but got greedy and started acting. He apologizes and runs away. Meanwhile, Mingyu gets a call from someone telling him that he shouldn't have messed with their men and to be ready for trouble. In the same village, a rich-looking man arrives in a big car, spreading his men all around. They have pictures of Fan and want to find her. One of these photos reaches Fan's stepmom, who asks the man if Fan owes him money. The man named Jiheo says that Fan is his fiancé and he is looking for her because he loves her. The stepmom is surprised and thinks that Fan must be a big deal to have trapped such a wealthy guy. She assumes that Fan must have done great things after running away from home despite losing her memory. She tells Jiheo that he can come with her to meet Fan because she is her daughter. Fan sees Jiheo approaching from a distance and disguises herself as a simple village girl, acting as if she is uneducated and unaware. Her speech and style make it clear that she isn't from the Y group. As Jiheo approaches Fan, Mingyu steps in to protect her, declaring that he is her fiancé and telling Jiheo to stay away. The villagers enjoy watching this scene, finding it entertaining. They think it's like a drama with one girl and two boys vying for her attention. However, Fan's excellent acting convinces Jiheo that she is truly a village girl. He also sees her old photos at her home and believes she belongs there. Meanwhile, Fan starts remembering when she was kidnapped in the dark and a boy saved her, getting shot in the process. She notices that Mingyu has a similar bullet scar on his waist, but she can't check it properly. So she devises a plan. She intentionally throws grass on him to dirty his shirt, hoping he will take it off, but Mingyu senses her intentions and moves away. He seems to have eyes at the back of his head. She then tries to splash water on him, but again he avoids it. Finally, she sprays him with a hose, forcing him to take off his shirt and go inside to shower. Her third plan is ready. She hides his towel. When Mingyu calls her to bring a towel, she purposely slips in the bathroom, asking him for help. This way she gets close enough to check his scar. She touches the scar on his waist and realizes it is indeed a bullet scar. She asks him why he has so many suspicious scars on his body and whether he is a military officer or an agent. Mingyu teases her, saying she should be scared as he might be a criminal. However, he soon shows her some reports indicating that the scars are from puncture wounds, which reassures Fan. Mingyu thinks to himself that it's a good thing he was prepared. Otherwise, Fan would have gotten suspicious. Later, he goes to Fan's house to look at her childhood photos and learn everything about her. He discovers that Fan is allergic to pineapples. He plans to test her and sees that she has already done the same. Fan noticed that she was left-handed but could also work with her right hand. She shows the skill to Mingyu, revealing that she was also fully prepared. She had read the real Shu Fan's diary and found out many truths from Chi-Chi by convincing her that she was her best friend and had lost her memory. To test her, Mingyu makes pineapple rice for her, and despite her fear, she eats it happily. Soon she starts feeling like she can't breathe and red spots appear on her body. Mingyu, having prepared in advance, gives her a medicine that makes her vomit, clearing her body of the pineapple. He apologizes, saying he was testing her and asking for forgiveness, promising to take good care of her in the future. It is revealed that Fan noticed Mingyu testing her repeatedly since morning. Therefore, she took a medicine that caused symptoms similar to an allergy when eating pineapple. The next morning, Mingyu goes to work and Fan stays at home to rest. Her brother comes to her, acting very kind and sweet, serving her. In the end, his true intentions are revealed. Today is their father's funeral, and he urges her to come along so the villagers won't think badly of them. She agrees to go as she learned from the diary that Shu Fan loved her dad very much. While traveling with her mom and brother, she realizes they are deceiving her and taking her somewhere else. She tries to escape, but is overpowered and locked in a room. They tell her they won't let her go until Mingyu pays them the remaining money and takes the ring off her hand, saying it looks valuable. Fan is now trapped and can't call Mingyu. Meanwhile, Jiheo tells us that they will find out tonight if she is Fan or Xian. If she gets scared in the dark, then she is Xian. A little later, Fan starts remembering her kidnapping incident and becomes very scared of the dark. She suffers greatly, while on the other side, Mingyu is searching for her. He tracks the location of her ring and soon arrives, confronting her mom and brother, and saves her from the darkness. Mingyu carries her outside, and Jiheo watches the whole scene, wondering if it's a coincidence or if she is actually Xian. Mingyu takes her to a beautiful spot and puts the alarm ring back on her finger. As he moves closer to remove a leaf from her hair, Fan closes her eyes as if she wants a kiss. Mingyu notices this and kisses her. One day, Chi-Chi and Cheng visit the main couple and accuse them of pretending to be a couple just to avoid Jiheo and make him jealous. Jiheo overhears this conversation, and they insist they are a real couple. To prove it, they ask questions, and both must give the same answers. The first question is about their first kiss. Fan says it happened 3 days ago, while Mingyu says it happened 3 years ago, revealing their different answers. The same earring that Fan lost 3 years ago brought back memories of a drunken night when she kissed someone. She realized that the girl she kissed 3 years ago was herself, meaning she was her own first love. To communicate with him, she leaves an alarm on her ring. However, while she was not paying attention, someone came and hit her on the head, knocking her unconscious. But before passing out, Mingyu injured the person as well. Fan was waiting for him as it had never happened before that Mingyu didn't show up when the alarm rang. Conquering her fear, Fan ventured into the dark forest, saying, "He always saved me, today I will save him." She found Mingyu and dragged him back home on a board. With her soft hands, it was a difficult task, but she had to save Mingyu at any cost. Once home, she bandaged him up. Then Mingyu, still asleep, held on to her and didn't let her go. The next morning, they woke up in the same bed, feeling quite embarrassed. Xin comes and says to her, "I'm sorry, I should be the one protecting you." But Fan replies that their relationship is mutual. The next day, Fan begins gathering details about acquiring the village's tea farm as per her plan. She calls the village women and asks them in conversations how much tea is produced, what the sales are, how much money they earn, and the value of the land. Meanwhile, Mingyu is after the people working for Hydra Company who attacked him last night. On the other side, Jiha comes to Fan with flowers. Fan tells him, "Are you still thinking of me as Shi Yan? I told you yesterday I am not interested in you, so stop pretending in front of me." Jiha lies and says he is there to research the land and thinks about buying the beach. At that moment, Mingyu arrives, always jealous to see Fan and Jiha together. Jiha thinks Mingyu isn't rich, so to show off, he says, "No matter the cost, I can buy this land." He asks a worker, "Where's your boss? I want to buy this land from him." The worker addresses Mingyu as Sir, revealing that Mingyu is the owner of the land and has no intention of selling it. Jiha feels quite insulted. Back at home, Fan. She went to take down a painting from the room, but behind it was hidden a letter. Mingyu threw a pot towards her and then stepped in to save her. Their friends also tried similar tricks, which diverted everyone's attention, and she forgot to go to the room. On the other hand, Fan had also hidden a secret about acquiring the land. She was working on those papers when Mingyu came in. To prevent him from seeing the papers, she pushed him away, and they both accidentally fell on each other. During this, she managed to hide the papers. But then the village chief arrived, who thought they looked very romantic. We then learned that the village chief came to invite them to a traditional village event where they would have to perform something. Mingyu tried to get out of it by offering funds instead of performing, but the chief insisted that they only needed their performance. The next day, they started thinking about what kind of performance to give. On the other side, Cheng, the village chief's son, was very upset. He actually wanted to become an artist, but his father had burned his paintings and stopped him from pursuing it. His friends made a plan to showcase his talent in front of his dad at the event and try to convince him. Meanwhile, Fan suggested Mingyu sing, but she was terrible at singing. Then they thought about dancing, but Mingyu was very bad at dancing. They ended up considering fighting. He was very good at fighting but terrible at dancing. Luckily, Fan was there to help him, teaching him many dance steps. He learned enough to give a decent performance. Finally, at the evening event, Mingyu and Fan's dance was very romantic, and they looked great together. After their performance, they showcased Chang's talent to his dad. Everyone praised his talent after seeing his painting, which depicted his dad teaching him to walk. Chang said, "Dad, please, now I want to walk on my own." This touched the village chief, who hugged his son and agreed not to stop him from pursuing his hobby. The next day, the village chief and Mingyu were worried because a trade fair was approaching, but they were unable to represent their village because their participation documents kept getting rejected. Fan overheard this and immediately called her uncle, who was involved with the trade fair. Her uncle, who was organizing the trade fair, agreed to help. While sitting there, he realized that a woman named Miss Shi Yan from a certain group recommended them, giving them the opportunity to participate in the trade fair. They started preparing to go to the fair, and Fan helped as if she had always lived in the village and everyone was her own family. They got ready to go to the trade fair, but when they arrived they found that the security guard at the entrance was very mean. He said that it didn't look like they were allowed to enter because only elites were there. They showed their invitation card, but he rejected it, saying they weren't in formal dress. Fan stepped aside, got ready in a nice formal dress, and returned looking very formal and elegant. She looked very beautiful and said, "I am the CEO of Y Group, Mr. Jan." Of course, no one could stop them from entering then. She met Minggu and asked, "How was my acting? I heard I look like her, so why not pretend to be her and get inside?" Finally, they went to the trade fair, and everyone loved how Guyen village's tea was represented. This gave the villagers a big trading opportunity. After a while, Minggu also arrived in formal dress, looking very handsome. He danced with Fan and asked her to tell him the truth about who she really was. She replied that she wasn't sure at that moment. They got distracted by someone coming in, and later they returned to their village. When Fan took a bath and freshened up, she felt very cold. Minggu took great care of her. Fan told him that she could do everything by herself, but Minggu said, "I know, but I like doing it. Taking care of you, securing you, and protecting you makes me very happy," and that's how Fan was deeply touched by his words. She asked him a deep question: "If reality isn't as it seems, would you still care for me the same way?" After asking this, she fell asleep. Later, Minggu replied, "Yes, no matter who you are, my care for you won't change." The next morning, when Fan woke up, all the villagers were standing outside. She thought her secret might have been revealed, but they were actually there to thank her for representing their village so well. They took her to a lunch party where everyone respected her, and she felt very happy. Minggu had planned to propose to her, but another boy was already preparing to propose to his girlfriend at the party. Since 2 proposals in one party wouldn't be appropriate, Minggu stayed silent. A little while later, Minggu's stepmom arrived and revealed that Fan was not who she claimed to be. She said Fan was actually Yen and had come to deceive everyone. She showed documents that Fan had made an acquisition plan to take over the village's tea farms and land. When everyone realized her true identity, they got angry and started shouting at her. Minggu also took her aside and said, "Tell the truth, is this true?" Minggu felt everything was a lie and asked Fan if all the time they spent together was just an act to acquire the tea farms. Fan confessed, "The reality is that I am Yen, and from now on we will not call me Yen." She pretended to have amnesia to blend in and gain knowledge, but slowly everything changed. The moments they spent together were sincere, and she truly loved Minggu just as much as he loved her. She didn't know when the pretense turned into reality. Minggu, however, couldn't trust her anymore. He said, "I'm sorry, I no longer trust you. I can't differentiate what was fake and what was true, so our relationship ends here along with your act." Then Jiha came to take Yen away, but the villagers arrived. At first it seemed they were there to scold or hurt her, but they said they had thought it over and realized she had never harmed them. She represented their village at the trade fair and helped many people, so they came to thank her. Chi-Chi even said, "If Minggu won't keep you in his house, you can stay with me as long as you want." This stopped Yen from leaving, and Jiha had to go back alone. Yen then offered a drink to numb the pain, and she drank the entire bottle. The next morning, everyone in the village started avoiding her. She asked Chi-Chi what was happening, and then she remembered the events of the previous night. While drunk, she had caused quite a scene, yelling at Minggu for breaking up with her, saying her feelings were genuine. At one point, she clung to a tree, asking why it had turned into Minggu and to release her Minggu. She even stuck to his legs like a leech, not letting him go. Reflecting on this, she felt very embarrassed and couldn't believe she, a significant figure in Y Group, had behaved that way. She thought Minggu would never speak to her again. But Chi-Chi had a plan. She went to Minggu and told him she had heard that Jiha and Yen were very close, even showing him their recent photos together on social media where they were seen outing in the village. Hearing this, Minggu became very jealous and thought, "We broke up just 2 days ago, how could she move on so quickly? If I can't keep her happy, no one else should either." Minggu secretly went to see her and Jiha. Whenever Jiha tried to get close to her, she pushed him away. Fan then told Jiha the truth. "I am sorry, but I can't have a business marriage. I know my company is struggling and your company could help, but I will achieve my goals on my own and never sacrifice my love and dreams. You have always been my friend and will remain just that. After that, she went straight to Mingu, grabbed his hand, and stopped him. She asked, "Were you spying on me today? What do you think I am to you?" He then explained that he was threatened that whoever was closest to him, the person he loved the most, would be destroyed. To protect Shiryen, he let go of her hand and left her, rejecting her. But the next day he found out. On the night of the party at the trade fair, he had asked her who she really was. That same night she had written him a letter explaining that she was Shiryen and didn't have amnesia, but he only read the letter now. This meant that Shiryen had tried to tell him the truth. Feeling guilty, he ran to her and said, "I was wrong. You tried to tell me the truth. Stop staying here, I'm ashamed, and you should come with me." But this time Shiryen played hard to get and refused to go with him. Chi-Chi, liking happy endings, pushed them out of her house saying, "Sorry Shiryen, you can't stay here anymore." Mingu followed her, always trying to make her happy, and seeing her smile was his goal. Yet, she kept playing hard to get, always slipping away. Once Mingu had to pretend to be very sick, and those photos were shown to Shiryen. The whole village was in on it, running around saying, "Mingu has fainted 3 times since yesterday, he has a fever and is vomiting. We'll take care of him." Hearing this, Shiryen got worried and went to his house, held his hand, and sat beside him. Mingu confessed, "I have enemies and out of fear I rejected you that night. But now I realize that no matter how many days we have left." Mingu declared, "We will stay together no matter the fear. I won't let you be apart from me." However, Shiryen, being a spoiled and wealthy daughter, refused him once again, saying, "You need to pay for all the pain and tears you've caused me." One night Shiryen was attacked, and of course Mingu arrived to save her. His fighting style and mannerisms reminded Shiryen of the night she was kidnapped when a bodyguard saved her. His number was 11,901. She couldn't see his face then, but now she recognized that it was Mingu who had taken a bullet for her. She hugged him immediately. It turned out that the villagers were just pretending to bring them closer together. They all told Shiryen how much Mingu loved her and how no one else would risk their life for her. Finally, they reconciled. Mingu then took her to his secret room and showed her the same code number. He explained that the night he saved her, his friend, who was like a sister to him, had died while covering them. Seeking revenge, he went to Hydra Company's overseas camp and destroyed them. Since then, Hydra had been after him. After all this, he quit his job and returned to his village. What an emotional and heartwarming story. It sounds like a roller coaster of emotions and bravery. Shiryen and Mingu looked adorable together as a couple. Shiryen entered her office after a long time with her bodyguard and boyfriend Mingu. Mingu asked her to sit quietly and began searching her office. He found a bug hidden in a place, and Shiryen was amazed at how capable her boyfriend was. She wanted to give him a kiss for his work, but the office workers saw the whole scene, and they both felt quite embarrassed. Despite this, Mingu always made sure she felt secure, which made Shiryen very happy. However, Mingu made a mistake when he accidentally grabbed and pinned Shiryen's dad against the wall, not realizing he was his future father-in-law. Embarrassed, Mingu stood there as Shiryen's dad commented on his impressive strength and protection skills. Shiryen accidentally revealed that Mingu was her boyfriend, which surprised her dad. Shiryen had to attend a meeting at Chue Group where private bodyguards were not allowed inside. Although the situation was dangerous, Shiryen reassured Mingu that she had an alarm ring. Inside, Mr. Chue Jia's dad was meeting with many shareholders. The shareholders were sitting there being blackmailed and threatened to transfer their shares of Y Group to Mr. Choi. Shiryen arrived and told them she had a better proposal. She assured them that if the stock price dropped, she would buy their shares at a 20% profit and guarantee their return. She was determined to never give up on Y Group, her family's legacy, no matter the cost. Mr. Choi then threatened her, saying she wouldn't leave without signing over her shares to him. At this point, she activated her alarm ring, signaling Mingu to come up via the lift. However, many thugs were blocking his way, attacking him in the lift. A while later, when the elevator doors opened, the thugs were all defeated and Mingu rushed out to save his girlfriend. Uncle Choi threatened to cut her finger if she didn't sign the papers, but Mingu arrived just in time, fighting off everyone and rescuing her. He carried her to the car and had already called the police, leading to Mr. Choi's arrest. Shiryen was very worried about Minggu, and when he was taking a shower, she saw cuts on his clothes indicating deep wounds. Without thinking, she rushed into the shower to check on him. However, once inside, there was a bit of embarrassment. Minggu pulled his girlfriend closer and said, "I am here to protect you. If I get hurt in the process, I don't care. Who else would do it but me?" Then he kissed her, and they spent a romantic time together. The next morning, Shiryen woke up to find that Minggu had prepared breakfast for her. He even helped her get ready for work. She told him, "You're spoiling me," to which he replied, "I love spoiling you because you're my one and only love." When Minggu was standing outside the office, many girls were swooning over him and trying to flirt. Shiryen got jealous and activated her alarm ring. Minggu rushed inside to save her, and she landed in his arms. Holding her close, Minggu reminded her that she was at work and should focus on her job. In the next scene, Shiryen discovered a traitor in the office who had planted the bug. She recorded a video of him talking on the phone. When he tried to snatch the phone from her, Minggu arrived and said, "How dare you raise your hand against my lady?" After questioning him, they found out that the secretary had instructed him to do everything, but there was no evidence against Mr. Chue. Shiryen's dad then called Minggu for an interview. Minggu, fully prepared, brought all his documents and said, "I understand your concern. You've kept your daughter like a princess, but I..." Minggu, showing his property and tea farm documents, said, "I'm not just a bodyguard. I have considerable property and tea farms. I will keep your daughter happy even though I may not match your status. I love her and will protect her." Shiryen was watching all this on CCTV. Meanwhile, she started to feel her dad might be getting angry with Minggu, and she got scared. She rushed home, but Minggu had already finished talking with her dad and was in the shower looking angry. Shiryen apologized and said she would convince her dad. Minggu then pulled her into the tub and said, "I have already convinced your dad, and he approved our relationship." Shiryen was very happy realizing Minggu had won her dad's heart. The next day, they went to Guyen village. Shiryen talked to the villagers about the land. She explained, "Originally, my plan was to acquire your tea farms, but now, after understanding your emotions and love for this land, we don't want to acquire it anymore. Instead, we want to have a business cooperation with you. We will grow together and make Guyen tea a brand." The simple villagers were skeptical, thinking the businessman might deceive them. They were unsure how to accept this proposal. But since Minggu owned the most property in the village, he immediately signed the document, followed by his friends. Seeing this, the other villagers started to trust Shiryen and Minggu and signed the mutual cooperation agreement. Shiryen thanked Minggu, and he said, "Every problem of yours is mine, and I will always stand by you." On their way, they saw a crowd. Shiryen thought they had come to interview her, so she did a quick makeover and went into the crowd. However, no one paid her any attention. All the girls had gathered around Minggu, taking selfies with him. This made Shiryen very angry, while poor Minggu smiled, nervously scared that his girlfriend would be furious with him. It turned out that CCTV footage of Minggu fighting the thugs in the elevator had gone viral, increasing his fan following. In the next scene, to promote the tea made from the Guyen village tea farms, they did a live stream where Shiryen and Minggu performed together. As they broadcasted this live stream, their audience grew rapidly and people were captivated by their dynamic and chemistry. Later, Shiryen noticed that her followers were more interested in Minggu. This sparked a mix of emotions in her, jealousy and pride. Minggu, aware of her feelings, reassured her that she was the most important person in his life. Their teamwork and shared goals eventually brought even more success to Guyen Tea, creating a harmonious blend of business and personal happiness. Isn't it fascinating how their journey transformed from a tense rivalry to a loving partnership, all while overcoming numerous challenges? If you'd like to dive deeper into any specific part of the story or discuss something entirely different, I'm here to help. They had connected with Uniconnect, and now it performs very well with Sion. Then, dressed the same, they go for a boat ride together. Minji says he has one last wish left, which is that they always stay together and never part. Sion says that everything looks just like stories, but wonders why love stories often have sad endings in real life. The next morning, Minji teaches Sion how to roast tea, and they make their first jar together. Minji tells Sion that this is the first jar, and they will make unlimited tea jars together. They will always stay together among the tea farms. After that, they reach home and a romantic scene starts, but they feel very embarrassed because the villagers who are hiding there see them. Xiaofan's brother and stepmom have also changed a lot. They apologize to her and say they treated her badly because they thought she was Fan. They are also ashamed of what they did to Fan in the past. Suddenly, they receive bad news. Insects have attacked their tea farms, which will waste a lot of leaves, and they won't be able to complete their orders on time. The tea merchants also confront and threaten them upon arrival. The contract they signed clearly states that they have 1 month to deliver the orders or else they will face a huge penalty. Sion and Minji realize that someone intentionally added hidden clauses in the contract. The insect attack had never happened before, so it must have been orchestrated by someone, a mastermind behind it all. This person will soon be revealed. Later, Ziho hears the news and offers to invest in their tea farms. However, Sion reminds him that she has already rejected him and has a boyfriend, so she questions why he is doing this. Ziho says he feels like the second lead in a drama, and although his love is unrequited, he still wants to help and support her. Minji arrives and tells Ziho that they do not need his help or support. He and his girlfriend can handle every situation together. Eventually, they find out that Jihao is behind everything. His father was arrested by the police, and he was very angry. He decided not only to ruin their tea farms, but also made it his mission to destroy Minji's life. Meanwhile, Minji and Sion continue to work on the tea farms together. They did a lot of research and, with the help of experts, sprayed pesticides to get rid of the insects. They worked hard for many days, and one evening they finally sat down to rest. The evening was beautiful, and they felt they could spend some quality time together. They drank tea in the evening, and Sion fell asleep with her head on Minji's shoulder. The next morning, when they checked their farms, the insects were completely gone, and they were very happy. However, the production was still quite low. They had only 1 day left and needed more tea leaves. They asked for help from the village chief, who made an announcement in the village. Many villagers had stored tea leaves for the peak season and might help them by giving their tea leaves. In the evening, when they were feeling hopeless, the village chief arrived first, followed by the entire village with their stored tea leaves. Everyone helped, and they managed to get through the situation together. In the end, they completed their order. The tea merchants, who were hoping for compensation, were very disappointed. They thought they would get a lot of money and the order would not be completed, but Minji made them an offer. He said that they would end their cooperation with the merchants. Gu Auntie's tea brand was becoming very famous, and they would give future contracts to someone else. However, he hinted that they might reconsider if the merchants revealed who had asked them to do all this. Finally, they discovered that Jihao was behind everything. They reached Jihao's car and pulled him out. He was no longer pretending to be innocent. Jihao angrily tells Minji that he will take away both guys' tea farms and Sion from him. Minji teaches him a lesson and tells him to go away, saying he won't let him have either. One day, Sion receives an emergency call and has to return because her dad's shareholders are putting a lot of pressure on him. The stock market is down, and there's propaganda on social media that Sion and her dad are planning to sell all their assets and move abroad. Sion posts a video message saying this isn't true. Jihao visits Sion and offers her a deal. He gives her 2 options: either marry him and merge their business group, saving her father's business, or he will forcibly take over the business and ruin Minji and the tea farms in Guyan village. Sion slaps him and he leaves, saying that one day she will come begging to him. Sion is very upset but doesn't tell Minji about it. When Sion returns, Minji gives her all his property and business documents, saying that it might not be enough to save her Y group, but it's his effort to help. He tells her that everything he has is hers. Minji was very sincere and gave everything to Sion, but Sion said she didn't need any of it. She suggested they go to a place with a wishing tree. Many people had hung their wishes on the tree, but she said they would bury their wishes instead. Sion's wish was for a happy ending for them, though she commented that in real life sad endings are more common. They saw a shooting star and made a wish. Sion then went to her dad and told him she was ready to marry Jihao to save her dad's business. It was revealed that her last meeting with Minji was a final goodbye. The next morning, Minji's alarm rang, but he couldn't reach Sion as she had disappeared from his life. Minji believed that Sion was cornered by Ji Hao's blackmailing, otherwise she wouldn't have left him. He stood outside her office to convince her, sending messages with a drone saying they could face everything together. However, Sion closed her window and cried, thinking she couldn't risk destroying Minji's life and the village. News of Ji Hao and Sion's upcoming wedding was announced. Ji Hao told Sion he enjoyed taking love by force as it thrilled him. At that moment, Minji arrived, fought Ji Hao's bodyguards, and tried to explain everything to Sion. Minji secretly put the ringing alarm back into Sion's pocket. Sion told him she was doing everything for herself and asked him to leave because he wasn't at her status level. The goons then beat Minji in front of Sion. Minji stayed quiet to avoid provoking Ji Hao, and Sion left with Ji Hao trying to win his trust. Sion's dad had suggested a different plan: gain Ji Hao's trust, find evidence against Chu Group, and present it to the media to improve their image and save Y Group. While looking for secrets in Ji Hao's room, he caught Sion and revealed he had installed cameras, never trusting her. He became very angry and found the ringing alarm which Sion was using to try to contact Minji. When Minji got the alarm, he went to its location but was attacked and tied up by Hydra's goons. Ji Hao arrived with Sion and revealed he was behind everything. He got angry and found the alarm, saying he would use it against Minji. Minji was tied up among Hydra's goons. Ji Hao arrived with Sion and revealed that he wanted to take revenge. Ji Hao admitted that he had ordered Hydra to kill Minji's sister and arranged the kidnapping 3 years ago. Ji Hao attacked Minji with a knife, making Sion very distressed. However, Minji revealed that he had planned his capture and everything was live-streamed by their friends Che-Chi and Chang to trap Ji Hao. Ji Hao yelled and attacked again, but Minji and his friends managed to overpower him and his goons. However, Minji collapsed from his injuries shortly after. Minji was badly hurt and Sion cried a lot seeing him in that condition. Evidence about Chu Group trying to frame Y Group reached the media and the police. Chu Group fell while trying to bring down Y Group. A cute scene follows where Sion brings a bouquet to the tea farms where Minji is working. She tells him he has done so much for her and she doesn't deserve all this. Sion proposes to Minji, asking him to marry her because he gave his life and property to her and always stood by her during dark times. Minji runs away, leaving Sion surprised. He returns shortly and says he should have been the one to propose. A drone with a ring flies in and Minji kneels and puts the ring on Sion. Their friends who were hiding in the fields join in their celebration. Minji tells Sion he fell in love with her 3 years ago when she entered his life and they will have a happy ending. A ceremony in the village shows that the villagers made good profits. Y Group is successful and Gu Anti has become a famous brand. Che-Chi and Chang, who had loved each other since childhood, also became a couple. In the last scene, Minji says he has 2 wishes: to always take care of the tea farms and that he loves babies. Sion surprises him by saying that both wishes have already come true because she is pregnant. Hearing this, Minji is overjoyed and hugs her. And so this beautiful love story ends with a happy ending. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.